Both of those guys are like really competitive. No secret, both of them are fighting for a starting job. Justin being still a young raw player and learning from an older vet like that, I feel like it'll help him in the long run. I feel like his skill level will go to the next level.
He's done a good job. You know, he's a really good competitor.
We are truly witnessing one of the greatest training camp battles I've ever seen for the quarterback position, and it's not like these quarterbacks are out competing each other. It's that they each keep finding a way to screw it up. Now, before we start, huge disclaimer, it's still just preseason, but since we're desperate to get any type of football action after being deprived of football for 6 months, then clearly we're going to overanalyze every little bit of action we get. Before we get to the content, we're giving away copies of Madden 25. All you have to do to enter, subscribe, and turn on our notifications. And now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It has been a nightmare offseason for Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. In the case of Russell Wilson, he demanded a trade from the Seattle Seahawks, got traded to the Denver Broncos, was put in a situation where Russ would finally be allowed to cook, and he did the exact opposite of cooking. I mean, Russ was fried in Denver, and whether you want to blame that on Nathaniel Hackett in year 1 or Russell Wilson himself is up to you. In year 2, the Denver Broncos decided to move on from Hack, brought in Sean Payton, and Russell Wilson improved considerably. But this improvement wasn't enough for Sean Payton to be sold on Russell Wilson as his quarterback for the future. So the Denver Broncos did one of the stupidest things we've ever seen a franchise do: cut a quarterback before his contract extension officially kicked in, incurring a generational cap hit on the team and drafting a quarterback in the first round of this year's NFL draft. Now, Bo Nix is doing solid so far for the Denver Broncos, and we're going to make a video on that soon. But in the case of Russell Wilson, he had 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions this past year, but Denver still decided to cut him. Now, in the case of Justin Fields, his situation was just very unfortunate. The Chicago Bears thought that they got a steal when they drafted Justin Fields 11th overall in the 2021 NFL draft. This was a player that was supposed to be the second QB off of the board and one of the deepest quarterback classes we've ever seen. And not only was it not one of the deepest quarterback classes we've ever seen, but he fell to the 11th overall pick. Justin Fields was drafted to a Chicago Bears team that was completely devoid of any talent. And the unfortunate part about this is once the Chicago Bears started actually making good moves, they made a trade that was so good that it essentially pushed Justin Fields out. As you guys remember, the Chicago Bears traded the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft for DJ Moore, a first round pick in 2023, a second round pick in 2023, a first round pick in 2024, and a second round pick in 2025. We all know that that first round pick in 2024 would turn into the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. And at the top of the NFL draft was a player that was so talented that they just couldn't help themselves. Caleb Williams was right there for the taking. And if you select Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall pick, you not only get a fresh 5 years with a quarterback that is going to be underpaid, but there's a good chance you get a huge upgrade at the QB position. This was a divisive discussion among Chicago Bears fans all offseason long, but at the end of the day, the upside of Caleb Williams is significantly more than the upside of Justin Fields. If Justin Fields has a breakout season this year, then you're gonna have to pay him a huge contract extension this summer. But if Caleb Williams ends up being significantly better, then you don't really have to worry about paying him for another 3 years. And your Super Bowl window is wide open considering the fact that the Bears made trades for Keenan Allen, signed DeAndre Swift, drafted Rome Odunze, brought back Jalen Johnson, traded for Montez Sweat in the middle of the season last year. So the Bears made their decision, drafting Caleb Williams number 1 overall, but to their credit, they traded Justin Fields into a pretty good situation. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been looking for an upgrade to the quarterback position since Ben Roethlisberger retired. And Kenny Pickett could have potentially been that upgrade, but he just didn't want to compete with Russell Wilson and Justin Justin Fields, opening the door to one of the most unique QB battles we've ever seen. Is Russell Wilson truly as washed as he was in Denver, or was it just his circumstances? The instability at coaching, the lack of structure within the offense, and the fact that Jerry Jeudy couldn't make a reception to save his life. Was Justin Fields truly ready to take over for the Chicago Bears, and they just never gave him a chance, and they traded him before he had the opportunity to compete? Well, these two had the opportunity to prove themselves in training camp, and right away Justin Fields had a huge advantage. Russell Wilson injured his calf during a sled drill, which I don't know what they were doing having Russell Wilson do that drill, but it gave Justin Fields significantly more reps with the first team. And boy, Justin Fields truly started to impress when he got first team reps. You saw consistent footage of Justin Fields throwing accurate deep passes with pinpoint precision, being praised for his ball placement each and every time. You never saw a low point from Justin Fields during practice. So going into Justin Fields' preseason debut with the Pittsburgh Steelers fans were very hopeful. This could potentially be your future at the quarterback position. And he's gonna have Russell Wilson as a mentor. And so far, Russ has been very awesome in regards to being a mentor to Justin Fields, should that be his position.
He's done a good job. You know, he's every play he's going against a really good defense. So every day, you know, there's some really great plays, and there's plays that he responds, you know, back to, and this and that. So it's just, that's the part of practice, and he's doing a good job. He's a really good competitor. He processes as well.
So, how would it go for Justin Fields in his preseason debut? Well, it was a mixed bag. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of good, but the things that stole the show was the fact that Justin Fields made the same mistakes that consistently have screwed himself over in the past. The number one issue with Justin Fields has always been his pocket presence. There's been times where he'd have wide open wide receivers, but he would tuck the ball in and run instead, being way too overly dependent on his feet to make plays. When defenses keyed in on this ability, then he would frequently hold on to the football for too long and the pocket would collapse on him, despite having wide open receivers. And in this particular case, Justin Fields had two glaring issues throughout the game. Both of them happened to be fumbles. And the crazy part is Justin Fields' center, Nate Herbig, took all the accountability for this mistake. But in reality, if you take a look at this play, it was 100% Justin Fields' fault. But it wasn't just the fumbles that warranted criticism for Justin Fields. Once again, his pocket presence came into question, taking sacks that really weren't necessary. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Mike, where is Justin Fields supposed to throw this football to? Well, you have multiple options here. You could check it down to your halfback right over here. Your wide receiver here is wide open as well. But the thing is, Justin Fields once again kept his eyes locked on to the left side of the field. And this is just something that has consistently screwed him up in the past. Now look, I don't think this is the end of Justin Fields. He's fortunately in a situation where he could sit back and learn behind Russell Wilson, and they could bring him on slowly. And given how the Green Bay Packers recently did this with Jordan Love, I feel like every football team officially is in love with the concept of getting a first round pick with a tremendous amount of potential, benching him for a few years, and then try to have him develop, whether it was the New York Jets last year with Zach Wilson and his supposed redshirt season that never happened, or the Dallas Cowboys trading a 4th round pick for Trey Lance in the event that they let Dak Prescott walk and pay him $40 million to do so, or Michael Penix being drafted with a top 10 pick this year after the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins, only for Penix to sit for a couple of years and then take over for Cousins. So Justin Fields could definitely be in a scenario where he could eventually take over for the Steelers in a year or two in a Jordan Love type of fashion, but it seems like it's the same mistake over and over and over again for Justin Fields. But the funniest part about this is I saw a post on X when I was browsing a couple of days ago doing my research for this, and someone tweeted a perfectly placed pass by Justin Fields saying, can you imagine what's going to happen on this app when Justin Fields has a better season than Caleb Williams? And in the meantime, Caleb Williams, who I've memed mercilessly on on this YouTube channel for doing all kinds of crazy stuff, whether it's trying to get equity in the team that he gets drafted by before even playing in his final collegiate football season, refusing to take medical tests, not getting haircuts at all whatsoever, walking by Keenan Allen for the first time without acknowledging him, painting his fingernails, crying following a game, and carrying around a purse, or whatever the hell you want to call this thing. You have to admit, this guy absolutely balled out in his preseason debut. I mean, I've seen 3 clips of Caleb Williams doing something awesome, whether it's this no-look pass that went for a huge gain, which I guess it wasn't really a no-look pass, it was more like a cross-body pass, but still looks pretty awesome. The fact that he could throw it with velocity like he did here, or the fact that he was able to roll out to his right, pump fake the defender, and then deliver a strike to Cole Kmet. Now look, I know it's just preseason. I just felt like it was something worth bringing up, especially because good football deserves to be praised. But you know who doesn't deserve to be praised? Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys have alienated CeeDee Lamb in the most idiotic way possible. We have a full video on it. I'll leave it in the end screen. And Juju Smith-Schuster's career might be over. I'll leave it to the other side of the end screen if you guys want to check it out. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.